This video is brought to you by DistroKid. And welcome to the super fun, awesome, happy time pedal show. My name is Gabor.
Hey, welcome along. I'm Alex, and this is video 3 in our series of recording guitar at home. So today we're going to check out some plugins and reamping.
Yes, exactly. But before we do any of that, here's a word from our sponsors.
DistroKid is an online music distribution service, which is the easiest way for musicians to get their music out there online to stores and streaming services such as Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, TikTok, and more. DistroKid can automatically split up your earnings from any song or album with your collaborators, like producers, beat makers, and other performers.
All you need is your collaborator's email address and what percentage you want them to receive. You can change the splits and add or remove collaborators at any time. Click on our link in the description below to get 7% off your first year's membership, and also for more information about all the services DistroKid provide. And a big thank you to everyone at DistroKid for sponsoring this video, and back to this video. Alright, so this is part 3 of our How to Record Your Guitar series. Part 1, which you can watch here, was on mic placements, and part 2 was on using load boxes and IRs and sort of virtual mic placement. Today we're looking at reamping. So reamping basically means you can record a clean, dry guitar signal, and then later on worry about what amp you use, what pedals you use. You can kind of do all that later.
Yeah, the main scenario for this is kind of getting ideas down at home. Like if you're in an environment where you can't make a lot of noise, like neighbors close by or family and kids and that kind of thing. So that's where plugins really come into their own, and you can monitor through headphones and get your ideas down, even if it's not the most perfect tone or the most pristine quality. At least you're getting the ideas down. And then when you can go into a proper studio or go to a space where you can actually make some sound, you can reamp them later. So basically the idea is you record your guitar through the plugin. The plugin just sits on your guitar tone, but your guitar tone is actually dry. It's just a DI line. So that's how we're going to set up today. We've got a Mozztronics DI, one of Andrew's DIs from Melbourne. But
we're using a DI. You can basically, at home, you could just plug straight into any interface that has a high Z or high Z or high impedance input, where you can plug your guitar straight in just to use the plugins. So let's do this. So I've got my guitar here.
Got your sweet sounds.
Got my sweet sounds. So this is what it sounds like without any plugins. So this is what we're actually recording. That's what we're actually recording. So now we've got, hopefully, the screen grabber up. We're going to use this plugin.
Now, this is a Black Rooster Audio free plugin. They have some cool stuff. I've only just kind of found out about them. This is the Cypress, which kind of looks like a little orange type amp, but even though it's green. It's
a lime.
Sorry?
Because it's green lime.
Hey.
Or maybe it's not a ripe orange.
So it's kind of crunchy, punky, distorted thing. Which sounds pretty cool. This sound plugin sounds like.
It's a bit noisy, but you know, that's the thing.
A little bit noisy with the gain structure, but that's the tone we've got. So now what we want to do is put your track down. Record your sweet guitar parts.
Sweet.
That you're going to make all the girls fall in love with you.
Well, yeah, that always happens.
Which is a risk. And so shall we?
Okay, so this is literally just a riff I kind of made up about 2 seconds ago. So should I record it? Let's do it.
Do it.
Okay. Something like that.
That was bloody amazing. What's this song called?
It's called Bloody Amazing.
Oh.
Yeah. What a coincidence. No, literally just I wanted to do something that's sort of a bit, you know, spaced out chords and stuff like that, and a bit sort of rocky. And anyway, we'll see what happens. We'll see how it sounds later on. So this was basically just quickly recorded, quick idea. I'm in my lunch break, quick idea. Just wanted to just get it down because don't want to forget about it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to play it back through a reamping box, because that's a separate thing you need, which looks like.
Yes. So the one we have is from Mozztronics too.
Yeah.
So Andrew's made this baby.
Yeah. So the problem with reamping is, or not problem, but one of the things you have to watch out for when it comes to reamping is volumes are quite drastically different. So the output that comes out of your computer and your interface is actually way louder.
It's not just the volume, but it's also an
impedance
thing.
Yeah.
So even if you turn it down the level coming out of your computer, it's also a different type.
It's not going to work. So you need something that changes the impedance and changes the level down to, so your amp thinks it's a guitar hitting it, not a recorded sound.
And they're readily available.
Different. This is just one we're using just because Andrew, we know Andrew quite well, and he makes this, but you can use any reamping box basically for that. Okay, so let's check that out now.
Okay, the reamp setup is ready to go. We've got our dry track coming out of Logic through one of the outputs in the Apollo, which is their interface there. And that's going into our ramp box, which I mentioned. That's pretty much the essential part of the chain, the piece of hardware you do need to get your hands on. And that's going through some sweet distortion pedals and then into sweet guitar amp ring, and it's all going to sound sweet.
Yes,
sweet.
It's sweet.
All right, so let's we're going to play the track and play some controls and get some sounds.
Yes. Alright, so that was the dry, de-eyed guitar sound. So basically when I recorded it before with the plugin, we just turn the plugin off now. That's what it sounds like. Now we're going to run it through, out of the computer, through the reamp box, and through these pedals into the amp. Now the pedals we picked are the Doomsday Effects Heavy Metal and the Orange E by Mozztronics. You can watch a video for that here. Just to get, different sounds. That sort of voice a little bit like an orange amp. That's HM2 style pedal.
Yeah, both really different flavors, and we'll see, as you'll hear, they're both completely different tones, but depending on the track, they both could work depending on the vibe you're going for.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's coming up next.
Let's check that out.
All right, so that's how we did it.
Yes.
Basically, the idea is yeah, like we said, if you have any kind of restrictions with volume in your space, like if you have share house or family or neighbors or something, then you can get all your ideas down.
Or time constraints.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Yeah, use headphones, you're not bothering anyone, you're just going to be thinking away. And that way you can get all your ideas down, and then later, whether it's like a rehearsal studio or an actual recording studio, or you just have some time where you can actually make some noise in your house.
Yeah.
Mic it up properly, do it how you'd want to, and at least that way you go. So many times you talk to someone like, "Oh, I had this great riff, and how does it go again?"
Yeah, yeah. At least you put the idea down,
Yeah.
And even if the performance is, that's the thing. You put the idea down. The performance may be really, really good because you're in the moment as well. You don't want to lose the performance, but it didn't sound fantastic. This is a good way of doing it. You can reamp it. You can muck around with different sounds. You hear yourself play basically, and you can adjust the pedal to your own playing, which is kind of cool.
Or to the mix you already have, if you've got
Exactly,
drums
yeah.
and bass and synths or whatever you're
Yeah.
working with.
Yeah.
And like you heard, they're both quite different flavors of overdrive and distortion, but they both really cool for that guitar
Yeah.
part.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you can tweak
It's
it
just
after the fact.
Personal choice.
And also you can do this like this Mozztronics DI has a through, so you can record your dry DI signal as well as just using a real guitar amp.
Well, this actually has a cab simulation thing built into
Also
it
has
as well.
that too.
Yeah.
So if you're tracking a real guitar amp, it's always sometimes good to have a DI line
Yeah.
for later down the track if you want to change flavors of things.
Yeah, yeah. I've actually done on recordings I've done in the past at my studio at home. Quite often, I always have a second dry
Sure. Yep.
channel that I'm running. So, for example, if you watch the IR video we did, load boxes and IR video, the way I have that 2 notes torpedo hooked up is actually via SPDIF. Now, SPDIF is actually 2 channels of signal that come out. One channel is going through its own IR thing. The other channel is actually just a dry guitar signal. So I'm always recording 2 channels basically, one completely dry, one with the cab IR on it, which you can then later run through something like this, or you can run it into amp simulations to blend other sounds in together with it. So it's limitless, this sort of stuff.
Yep. And like with the other videos, kind of experimenting and getting the setup working for you is probably
Yep.
the most important thing.
Yeah.
The only bit of hardware you kind of need is a Reamp box of some sort.
Yeah.
And they're not expensive. There's
No.
a bunch of companies that make them. So thanks for Mozztronics and Andrew down in Melbourne for sorting out these so we can
Also,
make it all
Doomsday
happen.
Effects. Thank you very much to Matt.
Yeah,
There'll
yeah.
be full video on that, and some other Doomsday Effects pedals coming up, which look and sound really, really cool, actually.
They're pretty cool. But yeah, hit us up with a comment and questions below.
Yeah.
And if you've done this before or have any questions about how it's all set up and works, let us know.
Yeah, yeah, and there's more videos. There's 2 more videos in this series coming up, and then maybe even more down the track as well. Big thank you also to DistroKit for sponsoring this video, and yeah, thanks everyone for watching.
Catch you soon.